Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brian Meredith and welcome to another Class War Battlefield Podcast YouTube comment. You know, the last couple of days I've been thinking a lot of Nelson Mandela because of course he is fighting for his life right now. And something very strange happened to me the other day as I was thinking about him. A question arose. Why is it exactly that American politicians fall over themselves to praise Nelson Mandela and to worship him? He's a terrorist. He was a terrorist when he was put in prison. He was a terrorist as he spent his, 18 years in prison. And the only time when he was not considered a terrorist was when he was released from jail, then ran for president of South Africa, and supposedly ended apartheid. Anyone who's seen John Pilger's great documentary, Apartheid Did Not End, realizes apartheid did not end. A year ago, this reality was hit home to me when I listened to a interview that Chris Hedges gave to Jeremiah Wright. Yes, that Jeremiah Wright. And Jeremiah Wright talked about the revelation that Chris Hedges had exposed, that in order for Nelson Mandela to take power, he had to sign an agreement with the white landowners of South Africa. And what that agreement was that the white, formerly imperialist power structure gained seats in every election, no matter how many South Africans voted for their candidates. The former imperialists still gained seats in the representative chamber, the parliament of South Africa. This was, of course, stunning to me. I never knew that. Moreover, the agreement said to the black population of South Africa, we will take certain leaders from your group and we will make them millionaires. We'll create a black middle class, in essence. But the rest of you are going to remain poor. And that was the end of it. Now, I bring all this up because Nelson Mandela was a terrorist until he did that. Until he agreed to that. Prior to him agreeing to that, Nelson Mandela was a socialist. And he was a radical socialist. So it wasn't the party that he headed. So why is it then that the Americans are in love with him now? Because of course he gave up socialism and embraced 100% capitalism, which is in South Africa, as it is around the world, exploitative and has always been. Now what does this say to America and Americans? It says something actually frightening that most people, especially most European Americans, do not want to admit to. Everybody knows, or at least people who are conscious enough to admit that there's a problem with race in this country knows, black people are suspect. But nobody says that black people are supposed terrorists until we are proven otherwise. Trayvon Martin was a terrorist. That's why he was shot. George Zimmerman feared for his life. He was terrified. And thus he had to kill the big bad black man. He was a terrorist. Now yes, he wasn't a I have a bomb strapped to my chest terrorist, I'm going to blow up your house terrorist. He was, the way Zimmerman saw him was, you are a terrorist about to commit a crime. That is still a definition of a terrorist. But apart from that, what this says to America, what it says about the upper class elite in America, is that their definition of terrorism, of terrorist, has nothing to do with bodily harm. It has to do with the ability of the person or persons to threaten their livelihood. Nelson Mandela was a terrorist so long as he talked about radically redistributing the wealth and the land and the resources which were taken from black hands by their white imperialist masters. He was a terrorist until he gave that up. Americans, especially poor and middle class Americans, need now understand we are terrorists. When we consider the way that the wealthy look at us, we are terrorists. The reason why the police state is increasing in European American neighborhoods, it's been there in black neighborhoods, is because you're now being seen as terrorists. They are concerned that as the economy continues to go down the bucket, down the toilet, that you are going to strike back. All we have to do is look at how the Department of Homeland Security coordinated the crackdown on the Occupy Wall Street protests to understand how these people actually view you. You are a potential terrorist. They are not worried about you blowing up things. They are worried about you saying, we want a more egalitarian society and we want a more fair distribution of wealth. This is what they are concerned about. And ironically, Michael Moore, person that I rarely ever quote, talked about this in Capitalism, A Love Story, when he revealed that Citibank memo, which stated that the people at the top knew that the type of financial and wealth inequality was bound to create some kind of a kickback against them. What were they going to do about it? They were going to build a police state. And now, that police state, which has, like I said, always existed in the ghetto, in the black community, is coming home to the European American. I tell you all this because in the coming months and year, 2 years, as things get worse, people are going to start saying, you know, enough is enough. We need to hit the streets. You need to now prepare yourself for the reality that no matter how peaceful you stay, and I'm not saying get violent, I'm saying no matter how peaceful you stay, they are going to call you a terrorist. Fox News did everything but call the Occupy Wall Street terrorists, but they came close, by saying that these people were socialists, by saying that they were a threat to all decent Americans who work hard for what they got. That is code language for these people are terrorists. They want to destroy your way of life. Well, yes, you're right. Get it through your head, Fox News, and I hope you show this when the revolution does start. We do want to destroy your way of life, because your way of life is killing us. Call me a terrorist if you want. Call the people who are protesting terrorists if you want. But the reality is, you are the terrorist. You've always been the terrorist. And you're narcissistic, so you can't see it. You reverse everything. I want to thank you for listening. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can send them to classwarbattlefield@live.com. This is Vladimir Diaz. Thank you for watching.